So there's people who I felt like I wouldn't say looked up to, but I definitely thought they were cool. So and it's interesting when people tell me stories of I was that person for them, and it's like, I know because I don't think of myself like that
I do remember Junior always being like the leader of the pack, and like,
because he was the oldest.
and then also I remember whenever him, Ramon, and I think his name was Mark, the Asian dude.
Nah, I don't know. I don't know him.
The dude that will do this, so whoop, that guy all the time.
I remember hearing that, but I don't remember his face. So like, even if I do, maybe if I seen him, I would remember him.
I think his name was Mark. Started with an M. I remember, the little Asian dude, like all three of them together. I remember I'd be like, damn, these guys are tight. Especially because Ramon, I never seen whenever shit happened, whenever you came across a situation where it was like somebody was checking them, it was always like no fear. Like, okay, what's up then? And because you see that, it like role models how, especially because you're so young and you're seeing how shit gets handled, right? And then the outcomes of what happened due to their actions, and you seeing it came out good. So then you're like, okay, when this shit happens to me, this is the way I gotta handle it because that's the only good outcome that I've seen.
It sets a standard.
Yeah.
Of how you're supposed to behave. And then you also seen if you don't behave that way, the reaction you get from that. And it's everybody almost turning against you, being like you a bitch or you a sucker or you punked out. And it made you be like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be called a bitch. I don't want to be looked down upon. So that's why I feel like in Stockton, there was always like, always trying to show them, like I can do this shit too, like having something to prove. And I guess it was just because when you really think about it, it's just wanting to fit in.
I remember one time that we were going to the theaters. Like going to the movies was a big deal when you were younger, huh?
I mean, I never went. I don't think I went in Stockton to the movies. Oh yes, I did. That's a lie. I did. But every time I went with Nora.
Yeah, but it was a big deal though to go see a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it was a big thing.
I remember watching Spider-Man 2. I think it was Spider-Man 2 in the theaters.
And it was tight. Like I remember this shit was actually, now it seems like, maybe, I don't know if it's because we're old, but it seems like the movies are trash. And when you go there, it seems like it's outplayed its role of like what it used to be back in the day. And I remember I went there. We were, I'm not sure who came with us, but I remember for sure Junior was going, Carlos was going, Fabian was going, and their mother was dropping them off. And they came and they told me that if I wanted to go, right? And I went, I'm like, yeah, I want to go. So I went home and I changed. And I came back with a button up, right? It was just a button up collar shirt. But it was baby blue with the freaking white stripes and stuff. And Carlos is like, in front of his mom, he's like, you can't come with us looking like that. He said, you look like a scrap. And I was like, and then his mom was like, se mira bien. And he said, se mira bien. And I was like, oh, somebody said something, I'll just take it off and do this. And I just threw it on the floor, started stomping on it.
Yeah, damn.
And then I
that was after you got out the car?
Because this was on the walk over to his house.
Oh.
And I remember he had told me, I'm not sure, I remember Carlos was there, I'm not sure if Junior was there. And but they didn't want me to go with them because I was wearing blue. And they were like, and this is probably like 10, 11 years old. And but before moving to Stockton, any color stuff, I had no idea what the hell. Not until I hit middle school did I understand that gangs existed and people fuck with you for color. Like if you were wearing a specific color, automatically they tied you with certain people. So because in our neighborhood, for whatever reason, everybody hated blue. I didn't know that. But when I remember I came out with my collar shirt and Carlos like, you ain't wearing that shit. You look like a scrap. And I'm like, and then that was my first thing of like somebody saying something about colors to me. And I had to take the shirt off and throw it on the floor and stomp it out.
And what did they say when you did that?
I don't remember. I don't remember, but I remember I went.
That's weird because I don't remember having any trouble as far as colors. Like I never from Stockton. I don't remember. At least I don't remember. I don't remember anybody telling me, "Hey, you know, take that shit off" or anything like that. Never. I never came across anybody saying that to me. But then again, I wouldn't wear colors. We would wear Nike. I mean, we were Nikes, but we would wear blue jeans, Nikes, and white tees. So it was almost like uniform.
I think, but it was. I feel like heavily red. It was heavy. In high school, not high school, in middle school, I would always see people wearing. They would have the red bandana, or they would have the red mainly anything. The Jordans, they would be red all the time. I would always see people never blue, always red, and people would specifically buy the 14s because of the 14, the norteño number, and 13 was the sureño number. And they would buy them 13s in blue, and they would buy 14s in red.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that much deep into it. As far as like gangs, I know there was motherfucking groups and cliques, but like as far as gangs, I wasn't like aware about that. I had problems with cliques, like small groups of people, but not claiming a certain set or some shit like that. I remember we used to because we were from the east side. You know, we are from the east side. And I remember we would be walking towards high school, Fremont, and motherfuckers would roll by deep, like in a 4-door car, packed probably like 4 or 5 in there. And as they would pass, you would know because they look like us, right? So when they pass, we'd be like, "East side motherfuckers" or some shit like that to them. And then that time when we did that, these motherfuckers turned around. They turned around, and when they turned around, we started running. We cut in through the grass, through that grass.
You're on your bike?
No, we were on foot. We jumped the fence and cut in through the grass. You know that grass? Yeah, through that field, diagonally. So that way we wouldn't have to fuck with them. But I'm like, stupid shit like that. Doing stupid shit like that. I feel like that shit could have got us into some shit. But at the time, it was just funny. It was just funny, but, luckily nothing happened to us.
And in high school, I'm trying to think of the friend group that I had. Or not high school, but in middle school. Because I would always hang out with the same people. And the majority of them were all Mexicans. And I remember... I don't know why it was like this, but I remember there's one tall black dude, hella big, tall.
He was your homie or what?
Nah, I didn't it was weird. It seemed like he was because he would talk to me like he was my friend at times, and then he would talk shit to me sometimes, and he would talk shit like, "Oh, we about to fight" type shit. And so I didn't know how to read them. So my ass was always like, every time I seen them, I ducked them. I went somewhere else because I didn't want any. I knew that there was chance for issues with him. Every time on site type shit, every time you see me and we locked eyes, it was always, "Oh, how's it going?" or "What's up?" whatever. And then, or it was freaking, "Oh, look at this buster," or something negative. So I would, every time I seen his ass, I would always duck him. I was like, "I'm not trying to fight this motherfucker." And one of my friends was a tall Mexican, but his ass they were about the same size.
Oh.
And I remember I was walking with another dude named Jesus, and freaking I can hear him behind me. Like I was
the big tall dude.
I can recognize his voice. He's walking behind me, and this was in 7th grade. And I remember I had a Mac Dre backpack that Michael had
spray painted for
me, and it looked hella clean. And I remember I was walking with him to the lunch, and I remember seeing this dude. I had just gotten that backpack, maybe a week.
It's funny because I remember that shit too. That shit was hella clean. Shout out to Michael, man. That fool can really fucking paint. He painted my backpack too.
I wonder where the fuck I had that in high school here. I just don't know what the hell happened to
I think maybe it just wore out.
But anyways, I heard him, right? I can hear his voice behind me, and he's like, he's like, check out that dude's bag. He's like, I heard him say something in regards of like, I'm gonna beat his ass and take it from him, right? Something along those lines. So I wasn't. The dude next to me was talking to me. I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. My ass was like
focusing on the homie.
Focusing on like, oh, this dude, because I just heard him threaten me. And I know he's talking about me because he's right behind me, talking about stealing my backpack. And I just cut like because when you got to the end of the hall, it was either left or right. And if you wanted to go to like the lunch area, you would go left. If you wanted to go to where you buy lunch from like the vendor people that would be out there, you would turn right. My ass just cut the right and went beeline straight to the where you buy lunch, because I knew that's where the tall homie was. But he didn't cut. I thought he did cut. So I was like hurrying up and shit, because I mean, I had already talked to him about this motherfucker before. And he's like, nah, if he ever gives you any issues, he said, bruh, he said, if I'm with you, he said, fuck him. We'll fuck him up together. So my head was like, okay,
that's your savior.
Yeah, it's my only option. Like, I had to like gain, because this dude, man. I'm not a big dude now, but me in middle school, this dude was probably 6 foot. Well, I mean, from what I remember, because it's like this dude was huge. He's like two or three of me stacked on top of each other.
Damn.
And I just remember thinking, like, man, I'm gonna have
probably just because you're small and you're looking up at him.
I was like, I'm gonna have to use tall Mexican homie. His name was Jose. I told Jose, if you do ever, especially if you catch me off guard, he's like, hey, if I see him, he's like, if I see him and he's on you, whatever, he said, don't even trip. He's like, I got him.
That's funny.
So I'm like, okay. So then after that, it eased me down again. But every time I was with big Mexican homie, he never said anything to me. He would never even come my way. But every time where I was by myself, and especially if he was with his boys, especially. But a lot of times he was always with his boys when he said something negative to me. But I remember that.
It seems like those are the type of people that ain't gonna really do shit though. They just like to talk. Because why talk? Why don't just do it? But it seems like there's a lot of shit that went down in Fremont, and I remember one time a teacher grabbed me by my shirt. I don't remember. I believe I was arguing with a kid in class, and then the teacher told me to stop, and I didn't want to stop. And at that time, the teacher had a desk outside the classroom. So whenever you got in trouble, he would send you outside. So I was arguing, and from what I remember, the teacher told us to stop, and I didn't stop. And he said something to me, and I said something back, and he came and he grabbed me by my shirt, and he lifted me up like that.
Off the floor?
Yeah, like lifted me up.
Okay.
And when he lifted me up, he didn't like pick me up and walk me. He lifted me up and then kind of like shoved me towards the desk and then left me on the desk. And I remember that pissed me off because I'm like, what the fuck? And now that I think about it, I'm like, it seemed like teachers were more abusive back then or some shit. I don't know.
Well, I think as you go farther back, the further back you go, the worse it was.
Yeah. And I remember I was mad at him and I knew what car he drove. And me and Alex had paintball. What are those called?
Smoke bombs.
Smoke bombs.
They were
the colored ones. We had those. And we went up to his car and I'm like, this is his car. We went in the parking lot of Fremont. And I'm like, this is his car. And he's like, are you sure that's his car? I'm like, this is his car. And I think I was like scratching it at first. And then after that, he had his window down, like cracked. So I lit up smoke bombs and I threw them inside of the car. And that shit was filling up of color in there. And then as those were going, Alex is like, come on, let's go. And then I was like, nah, I still had some. because the pack smoke bombs came with like 6.
6. Yeah,
So some shit like that. So I threw a bunch of them in there, and I had one left, and I lit that one up, and I was painting the car with it like that, painting the car, and then somebody saw me. Somebody from the school saw me and seen me doing that, and Alex took off. He's like, "Hey, whatever," said something to me, and he took off. We were on bikes. He took off, and then I seen him coming. Oh shit! I threw the shit and I just ran, and I never got caught for that. But I would have liked to seen the like what happened to his car. It would probably fucked up his car, because that shit would like stain. It would stain. So his car probably was all colorful and shit.
It's probably hot too, though.
Well, she could have started a fire, maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe, but it would have been like, it's because it's a different time. There's no cameras, huh?
Yeah,
at that
no
time,
cameras
there's no
back then.
cameras, and like the nobody had cameras at their homes. Like nowadays, everybody
now got
everything.
Alexa and shit. Everybody got the Ring.
Yeah,
and it's like that shit wasn't around back then. If it was around at that time, I would have been in a lot more trouble, because a lot of the shit that we ended up doing as dumb kids was shit that like was expensive damage, because fucking up cars, breaking windows, doing shit like that. Like,
what'd you write?
I wasn't writing anything specific.
Oh, you were just...
No, I was just like, whatever. But I remember that, and I was like, damn, like, I did a lot of shit that I feel like I definitely don't feel proud of the shit I did, because I realized like that's hella dumb. But as a kid, you don't think like that. You just want to get your get back. You just want to have something to, I don't know why. It's just like this.
Get even?
Yeah, like get an even type of mentality. And then also it's fun for some reason to do bad shit, or to do shit that you're not supposed to do. Because we would often, remember, go to the schools. We would break into the school, not break in, but we would like get inside of them, climb on top of the roofs, and then scavenge on the roof. So what the fuck we would find?
Yeah,
and
handballs.
often, yeah, and the police would drive around there, and they would see us, and sometimes they would come in, and we'd have to run and jump off
the roof. We'd jump off the roof hella
high, huh? That's what I was telling Esteban. I was telling him, like, I used to jump off the roof, high heights and stuff, and it messed up my knees, because in high school my knees would buckle, and like that was always something I tried to hide, because I didn't want people knowing that my knees buckled, because it wouldn't happen like super commonly, but I remember like one time going down the stairs, my knees like buckled and I almost fell, and it would just happen, and it was like it felt like it was getting worse. It was almost like a cramp that hit you, and my leg just like lost, like, what do they call it? It's almost like if you're standing like this and somebody kicks your leg.
Oh, in the back?
Yeah.
And
you kind of like, yeah, it's almost like that. And I told them my knees were like that for a while, until they sent me, my mom took me to therapy, remember? And ever since then, they're good, because they fixed it. They fixed it. They would make me stand on, I don't know what it's called, but it's almost like a ball. It's like half of a ball that's on the ground, and you would have to balance yourself, and she would throw me stuff, and you would have to catch it. And then she would make you do stretches. And it's funny, because I believe the reason why I can kick higher than you, and probably a lot of people, like, the reason why is because they would make me stretch my hamstrings. And the way they would do it is I would lay flat on the table, and she would give me like a belt, and she would make me pull on my leg, right? Like, I don't know how to, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She would make me pull on my leg, but she would be there. It was a girl. She would be there, like sitting right next to me. And I remember she would always be like, okay, we're going to do a minute or 30 seconds. And I would pull hard on my thing, whatever, to get the good stretch in, because she would say like, whatever. And she said, whenever you feel pain or anything like that, just let me know, we'll stop. But I never wanted to be a bitch in front of her. I've always wanted to look good. I would be burning hella crazy. Like, it was such a bad pain. It was horrible. It was such a bad pain. And she's like, are you all right? I'm like, I'm good. And I was burning hella bad. And I would hold it there forever, like the whole minute, sometimes even more.
It reminds me of that Yellow Wolf song. Like, what would you do for love?
Oh, I don't know.
That was you right there.
But it's like I just didn't want to like make her like this fool's a sucker or something. So I would do that. And through all that pain, though, I mean, I guess it was good for good because now my hamstrings like stretch good, far. Ever since then, it fixed my knee problems. All the exercises she did, and she also would tell me like every time I would go, if she was in a session with somebody else, I would sit on the bench. But while she was with other people, she would look at me, right? And sometimes I would be slouching. And that was one of her things. She would be like, she wouldn't like me slouching. So she would tell me, hey, I don't like your posture there, or something like that. And she would force me to sit straight. Like, and I feel like I do that sometimes. I don't know if it's because of her, but I do it. It might be like subconscious thing that I obtained from that, or it just be that I'm just aware. And I do that sometimes in my chair or whatever. I try to straighten my back out a lot. But yeah, that shit worked for me.
That's probably why she probably didn't know that she was training you to kick somebody in the face, huh? She probably wasn't aware of that.
I guess not. You know, when we went to that jumping place, what was that shit called? Kind of like Sky Zone.
Sky Zone shit.
It wasn't Sky Zone, but it was like
It was like E3. It was like E3 something.
Yeah. When I think when Robert said the kicking thing, I thought it was the bag that Joe Rogan kicks. You know,
yeah.
You know, I thought it was that. No, it was a soccer ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought that's what it was too. I thought when he said kicking, I thought he meant.
Yeah, I thought it was like, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get high numbers. That's my thing, right? But it was just a soccer kick. I mean, which is still cool. And then had the punching thing. What do you think about that punching thing?
I think it was tight. I didn't. I would like it to have more room because you need when you really want to put everything into it, you can't be cramped. So they have the machine too close to the other machine, so you can't really put maximum force because the other machine's blocking your how far back your hand can go.
Especially because I think I hit better with my right. Well, everybody does, right? Don't you?
Well, I'm right-handed though. I think it's odd for a left-handed.
There's something for that because I'm left-handed, but I do a lot of things with my right. You know, like if you throw me a baseball, I'm gonna throw it with this hand. If you throw me a soccer ball, I'm gonna kick it with my right foot. A football, I'm gonna throw it like this.
I think you're right-handed for everything.
Except for writing?
Except for writing. Because what else do you do with your left?
Other than writing? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think
I'm pretty sure I do multiple things with my left, though.
I think you can probably do more. Yeah, I think you naturally can do more with your left than I can. But I think your right hand's still your dominant hand.
And my mom told me that back in the day, left-handed people were like considered the devil. And it's true because even in the Bible, it always talks about the right hand being like the good hand, you know. And
why though? Why are people like
it always says that I think you're sitting at the right hand of God. I think Jesus is sitting at the right hand of God, not the left hand.
Yeah, but if you look at the thing, if you look at everything is like right hand man and you shake with your right hand.
You're not supposed to shake with your left.
And okay, so like or it signifies like distrust or whatever. But
or something. Yeah.
Why is humanity producing dominant right hand people? Why? Like why?
I think it could be too that they're just teaching you to. Like if somebody's gonna hand you a pencil, they're gonna hand it to your right hand. It's just the question is, why do we have people like me? Because I'm pretty sure they would hand me the pencil on my right hand, and it wouldn't work for me. I would write better with my left. So I mean, that's what I don't understand. And left-handed people are more rare, you know, than right-handed people.
But is there like? But it seems like
there's weird facts about that.
Yeah, there just seems like we're producing right-hand humans at like a 99% rate compared to left-hand. So that means that everything we're doing, as soon as the baby is born, we're doing it for the right hand race?
I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
you know, it's funny. Like left-handed people are left out on a lot of shit, and you don't think about it until even like a mouse, a gaming mouse. All mouses are designed for right-handed. There's like, and especially when you play games and shit, there's left-handed people who use the mouse on their left. So because it's not meant to be left-handed, they
feels
have to.
weird.
It feels weird for them, or they're at a disadvantage, or they need to buy because they are left-handed mouses.
They're just
You
more
know, they have to.
expensive.
They
huh?
have to just go to that person who makes those. So there's like that's why there's separate things that say for left hand or this whatever. Even video games, like there's something that they switch with like VR. In VR, I would have to switch how I hold my gun. Cause I would like you. Oh, there you go. If you give me a gun, I'm holding it with this hand. I'm not holding it with this hand. I'm holding that shit
So-
like this.
Oh, so your trigger finger becomes your left hand.
Yeah, like I have to. I can't hold a gun with this hand.
It doesn't feel good.
It's not natural. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. I have to hold it like this.
And a lot of
So in
a lot of guns are
So in
designed
the VR games, some games are just right-handed. So I'm fucked.
You know how
I have to just when you pull the slide back and
Yeah.
shit, I can't do it. Like I had to maneuver it differently. So for me, I always look for left hand in games in the VR, always. And a lot of them have it. But some of them games didn't have it and I would just have to deal with it.
Yeah, because when you do look odd when you shoot a gun.
Yeah.
When we went to the range and if you hit it, if you aim with the right one, you can see it don't look natural. I mean, it's the same thing as me. If I try to shoot like
With the opposite hand.
yeah, like this, it just I feel weird.
Yeah. And especially when you're in VR and you see your character holding it with the wrong hand, it throws me off. Because that's not how I would hold a gun. I'd hold it like this.
Yeah,
I feel like this is the best way. I don't know. I just feel like this.
Yeah, mine. I have the opposite of that.
Huh.
Yeah, and I use my left hand
And you just do this.
for the slide.
Yeah, I don't know. But it just seems like, see, there's certain shit that's weird. Why? Like, why wouldn't I hold it with my right?
I don't know.
I just feel like there's a natural comfort. Like I drink coffee with my left.
I don't. I can't. I mean, I can. I can if I have to.
You
But-
always see me like this.
No, I use my
A lot of people who know me, they don't even know I'm left-handed. And I'm like, you known me forever. You don't know I'm left-handed.
But it's
Isn't
not-
Nora left-handed?
I don't know.
Nah,
I don't
think so. Maybe I'm.
It's not something you would see or notice or pick up on.
You don't think so?
No. Only like when you
see somebody
writing or when you're holding. Obviously, if you're holding when you're in the range and you're shooting with the opposite way, then maybe something like that, something significant where you're like, oh, this different. You're backwards.
Yeah, I wonder, like, because I remember people at school being surprised
And do you kick with which leg?
with my right leg
For power?
for power. Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. There's a name for like, there's people who, it's common for people who are left-handed. There's some people who are left-handed but do everything with the right. And then there's people like me who just do unique things. For some odd reason, we tend to use our left
So
hand.
it's
for
weird,
something.
huh? It's weird because your right hand is the strongest hand, but yet your trigger finger is your left because you would want to brace. You know how the trigger usually is, you're bracing with your left, right? And the trigger finger for me would be my right hand. So if you're holding that, the grip, you brace it with the strongest shoulder and the strongest hand.
That's why I like the Glock 19 because it has a slide on this side too.
Yeah, that's what's tight about some companies that
Because
make it for everyone.
Yeah, because if it didn't have it, then it wouldn't work for me. I wouldn't be able to hit.
And it feels fine on both hands.
Yeah.
Huh? Feels good on both hands.
So that's what's tight about it. So when I hit, I can hit it good. So I don't know. That's a little weird. But I remember mom would say that I think left-handed people were like considered devils, and I think back in the day witches, and I think they would kill them.
That would suck to burn them alive, huh?
Hell yeah, it would.
If they were burning, like because they would just come in and just grab you. There's no trial. There's no like, let's make sure. They're just like, yeah, this motherfucker's a witch. We're gonna burn him.
They would do like odd trials to figure out if they were a witch or not. Have you heard of that?
No.
Like I think they would tie women in the like they would tie women by their arms and their legs, and then they were like, I don't know if they would put like a couple bricks on them, and if they didn't drown, they came back up. They were like, oh, there's a witch, and they would burn her.
And if she drowned, they were like,
but I think it was like I think it wasn't enough bricks or something, and because of that, they came up. So they were like, oh, witch, and they would burn them. So a lot of people died, innocent people died because people confused them as witches.
but I mean, are they really witches?
But why was that even justified?
Like, yeah, everyone that burned was not a witch.
I know what I'm saying. The majority of them that they burned were not witches. They were
Not
just
the
burning them.
majority, all of them.
Oh, you don't believe in witches?
No,
What was a witch?
just you remember in Hansel and Gretel, whatever that movie,
That movie, yeah.
and they went into the woods, and you seen an ugly, big nose, like
I don't
lady,
remember. I don't remember it that good.
and she in a gingerbread house, and she looks ugly. If you have a mole,
You're a witch?
or not a mole, but what is that? What are those big fucking
Like a cyst?
mushrooms that are growing out of your nose? If you have one of those, just like in the movies where the witches always have those big fat fucking things on their nose, you're a witch. Burn them. So that's the standard. If you have the big fucking thing on your nose and you're in the woods and you still use a broom instead of a vacuum, you're a
Oh,
witch.
shit.
You're a witch. Burn them.
But like, why would they? Why? I think they were scared that they were doing demonic shit or curses.
It was bad luck, and they thought that they were eating their kids, and the bad harvests were due to them, illnesses, all that shit. But it's weird because they would burn. If anybody gave you medicinal herbs for healing, like
They would think it was like
they'd be like, "Oh, you got secret powers, bitch,
Yeah.
and you're burning."
yeah,
When it's like if they were,
they were just modern medicine.
yeah, it's like
at the time.
the medicine for
that they were coming up with.
for pain or allergies or whatever.
Imagine that. Imagine being somebody who is intelligent to create fucking potions or whatever the fuck they're called, and heal people, and people kill you for it. It's fucked up. Especially like the ways they would kill them, right? Burning them.
Yeah, because that shit would hurt.
Because I believe when they would throw them in the water, if they would float, they would say she's a witch, and then I think they would pull her out and then burn her.
Let
But
her
the
dry.
odd thing, right, was if she didn't come up, she still died because they still threw her in there, and they wouldn't go in there for her. They would just throw her in there, and if she didn't come up, she's like, oh, whatever. And if she did come up, I think they would pull her out and then burn her. I don't know if that's true,
Or
or
you're
if they were
dying
just
regardless.
you're pretty much dying regardless. So I said a lot of people were dying for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. But and then, like, yeah, it just sucks. Oh, well, you should have been born that day or during that time.
But like, so you don't believe there's no people who have any type of power,
As far as like
give you bad juju or bad fucking vibes?
no, like I believe in like negative, like energy. People who are, I feel like people who are negative, like naturally negative, seem like never. I want to say bad luck, but I feel like good energy does do stuff.
Because energy, how do you say that? Transfers, right?
Yeah,
Like if I have good energy, somehow it reaches you. You feel that.
yeah, and I don't know understand the science behind it, but I understand it due to just music, like the same shit, right? Music, you listen to it, and that shit, it can give you energy, right? And it can lift your mood, it can make you sad, it can do all that shit. So why would another person? That's the same shit. It can be applied to another person.
Yeah.
So I know energy matters, good energy and bad energy, and people who are negative or like constantly negative about a lot of shit, it just seems like it's not only is annoying, but it's just mainly just annoying to deal with because obviously I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna ruin my day. It's not gonna make me feel bad or none of that shit. But it's just annoying to deal with because I can feel it's like my tower's not taking damage, right? Because I got my shield up, but I can hear it. I can hear my his arrows hitting my shield,
So it's
and it's
annoying.
just annoying. Like I'm trying to focus on my day, bro.
Yeah.
So that little ding, ding,
Or
ding.
somebody who always finds a way to be negative.
Yeah, it's just annoying. So like that's why so I can understand why it does play into I just don't want to be around it.
But like, so it seems because when I think about it, I'm like, there has to be people who are studying or practicing some type of fucking negative shit. Right? It has to be. That's why you see all these people drawing pentagrams or whatever that shit's called on the ground, fucking trying to open portals and all this bullshit. But I think the real thing is of like if there's any truth behind that. Is there anything that they're really calling? And it just seems like when you look at it from a religious point of view, you would think that yeah, they can be possible that you're calling upon demons and shit. Like you're calling upon them. Do you think like if you are somebody who ghost hunts, you're more likely to have bad luck? Because there's people who say like I've been doing all this shit and ever since then I got into a car accident. This shit happened. This shit happened. This shit happened. Is it really bad luck, or is it just somehow in some way subconsciously altering your moves?
I don't know, and I'm not one to try to find out. Like when it comes to like anything demon related or haunted houses and ghost shit, I'm not one to go and explore it. Like
even though
my
you're
natural
it's not
thing's like,
that,
nah, I don't believe like a ghost is gonna come in here and spank my ass. Nah, yeah, right. So, but I'm not gonna challenge it and be like, well, let's see which house that
you're
I can
gonna
get.
pull your pants down.
Yeah, I can get ghosts. Like, I'm not gonna go and search for it because I think ghosts are real. Like ghost shit, I think that shit's real. Unexplainable shit, I think it's real. There's something there. I don't know how, but I'm not gonna go and start fucking with it. So then they can. I feel like every time anything ghost shit, every time you speak on it, it's like especially when you're at the place of like
Where they say it's haunted and shit.
yeah,
It
where
increases your chances.
I feel like
Think so?
you somehow connect with that whatever the hell that is, and you invite it in to somehow communicate with you.
Why? You think because you're what do they call it? Like you're like tuning into a certain energy or a certain
Yeah, like I'm
something.
searching it, like whatever our frequency's at, I'm trying to link it to it, whatever it has.
And you're trying to reach like the radio signal to it.
Yeah, and for us to talk, and I'm like, I want my shit to be as far off from that motherfucker as possible.
Yeah, because I remember when I would watch haunted videos and stuff, my mom would tell me, she's like, you shouldn't be watching that type of stuff. Like it has an effect on you. Like you should, like it's bad even just watching it. And I don't know how. I mean, to me, it's like I don't really see it like that. Because it's weird how it affects your brain when you see something that's scary and you're constantly thinking about it. Now you think twice about going into a dark area because now your mind is wandering. Even though you've been in this place hundreds of times, and when you don't watch this movie, you have no fear. So it's just in your head then, right? It's like, oh, so because you watched the movie, now all of a sudden the ghost is like, oh yeah, you invited me in. Let me get your ass.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but when I feel like I don't know. I just don't want to be anywhere near it. Like same thing for like haunted houses and stuff. Like I don't see the fun of going and pretending because they're gonna jump out. They're gonna try to touch you up, and
There's a lot of have you been seeing videos about Halloween and stuff like that? Like how people are dressing up. People are dressing up, but like there's kids dressing up as Biden. And it was kind of funny because he was like, there was 3 kids, 2 security guards, and 1 was Biden. Yeah, and Biden was like all like everywhere. and he went up to a trash can and opened his thing, and the security was redirecting him, or he was falling and stuff like that. And people were saying that, oh, it's the fact that even kids know that's how big of a problem it is.
It's because the position of president was such a honorable position, huh?
At one point,
Yeah.
Even with Obama, I feel like a lot of people, they talk a lot of shit about Obama, but even with then, at least he handled the presidency with respect, and it seemed like Trump was more like, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna say what I want to say, and then Joe Biden just doesn't seem fit for it. Maybe he's too old, but it just seems like they never really give us a choice. Like, it's always the lesser two evils, and we have to pick. But why don't things change? Like, what do you think? If they change the age, if they were like 40 to 60 now, like, what is the age right now?
I think you have to be over 32, 30 something. You have to be over 30
I thought it was
something.
older than that.
No, you have to be over 35 maybe, and then
up to like 70.
And
then
something? There's no age, I think, as far as old.
There should be a certain requirement with age.
Yeah,
there should be a certain requirement as far as like health. Where's your health at?
Yeah.
Like, where's your health at? Where's all this shit at? They should medically examine you. And just like the fucking Marines.
Yeah, it's a fitness
If you're not
test.
fit for it, you're not good for it then. You're not, you're running the country.
Prior to even running. That's prior to even running. You're not even eligible to run. If you ain't fitting most requirements as far as just physical, you got to be fit for it. But then it's like, I think they should just have a standard for fitness for a president.
What if if they allowed anybody, like anybody with a certain level of education and who's been in the community for a certain amount of time, who didn't even go to college and shit like that? What if there was?
You can do that.
Yeah, there's a way to do that.
Yeah, you just got to run. Just like Kanye. Kanye ran, he's on the thing and everything.
So but you just need money.
Run. But there's like,
you just need money and backers.
Yeah. And also you need like the votes. Like, because if you're running for a specific party, you need the majority of the whatever Democratic or Republican votes, so you can be even in the lineup.
See, but I don't think people know that, because it's like when we see when it's voting time, you just see the two options that you see on the news, and you think you have to pick between these two.
Because they're the most. They're.
But why?
The media.
What happens if people don't vote? What happens if people say, you know what, these two are not fit? Like, we have...
yeah, but you have like...
Well, they would just not count your vote, huh?
There's like 7.
But that's what I'm saying. Why can't it be like a poll of like the citizens to be like, we don't fuck with either of these motherfuckers, find new ones? Like, why isn't something like that? Why isn't there a vote count to be like, oh, we don't want neither of these two?
But the only reason they get there is because they have the votes to be in that position to begin with.
I don't know. It just seems like a lot of people say a lot of shit, and every president make promises and they don't deliver.
I feel like
everybody fucking talks shit.
I feel like the U.S. like all these presidents. I feel like not until recently do you start really seeing like the bullshit, the lies. Right, because now with the internet,
cover
social
up,
media.
It seems like back then a lot of fuckery was happening,
and it wasn't
being exposed.
Yeah,
huh?
Yeah, and because of social media, because of all these outlets, people on YouTube, everybody's studying everything, and any little shit that gets a click, that's gonna put somebody on blast, it's gonna get out there. So I feel like the previous presidents got lucky, because I think Trump like elevate, because everybody hated that motherfucker hella bad. They wanted to find anything on his ass. So now, even with Biden, everybody same shit. Everybody's any little thing that they can find on him, they're putting it out there. So I think now it has this distrust for the government as a whole. Like, nobody fucks with it. I feel like never in the past have I ever seen so much people speak on how shit it is. The system It's
Yeah.
flawed. They need to fix it. And I'm not sure who has the power, or like, I mean, the people have the power, but people are not paying attention enough, or they're not caring, or I don't know what. But I feel like the whole shit needs to get redone. It needs a fucking update as far as like new set of rules, because there's no reason why the U.S. should be as much in debt as it is, being the number one country in the world, right? That's unacceptable. And it should just keep going up and up and up. And as far as like the people in Congress, well, how do you just run forever? How is there no term limits? These motherfuckers just run forever. And you need fresh blood in that motherfucker, right? Because these people are older than shit.
They're not adjusting to the times, huh?
Yeah. So, and then why the fuck does the government have like 80 holidays? What the fuck? They have a shit ton of holidays.
And they make a fuck ton of money, huh?
And they get paid for all this shit.
They get paid for a fuck ton of money, and they're not even doing their job.
Yeah, we
have hella problems.
Yeah, and like when big shit happens, these motherfuckers go on vacation. They go back home and shit, and they come back and they got a bunch of shit that they gotta do. They only do half of it, and then they go on holiday. Like, what the fuck, bro? Like you're supposed to serve the people 365. Not freaking 250 days.
You would think if you get in the government, you have some type of power within the government, you would work more than the average person, because you're working like your shit more important. But it seems like you're chilling more.
Yeah, because you're supposed to be working for the people, but your ass is working for yourself.
Yeah.
And it's like
there's corruption.
They make so much money.
There's so much corruption.
And they're not. I don't
think you ever fix that.
They're not out here putting overtime, huh?
You think every fucking country's corrupted? It has to, in some way. There's no one who's spotless.
There's probably, as a whole, there's probably certain governments out there that are like as clean as you could possibly get. You can't.
Even that clean is not clean.
It's not clean. Like 100% purified. Nah.
That's what I'm saying.
Nah, but it's like so like, and I wouldn't even know. But like, I'm trying to think of certain countries, but it's like if it is, they're keeping a tight lip. Huh.
Remember in Vikings when Ragnar was standing to the king of the Christians? Like, I don't remember his name. And he was like, "Are you corrupted?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Are you?" And he said, "Yeah, too." Something along those lines.
When they were in the pool?
No, I think they were in front of like everybody. They were having like a get together, whatever. And they were just talking. And he's like, "Are you corrupted?" He's like, "Yeah." It's like, I think when it comes to power, it's hard to manage power. Some people think it's not possible to have so much power and not be corrupt in a way. It's not possible.
That's human. That's human, huh? A defect, human defect.
I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just seems like maybe one person. It shouldn't no longer just be one person no more. Maybe what if we had multiple presidents? What if we had to have two, and they had to be in agreement for a lot?
Nothing will get done.
You don't think so? Well, same party though.
Oh,
no, yeah, same party.
We'd have to pay double.
Well, it kind of is in a way, huh? Because they always have the
well, I mean, yeah, they say the president doesn't really run the country. It's like
he's just a face.
12 motherfuckers.
I don't know. It just seems like a lot of shit. It doesn't seem
crazy complicated.
Yeah, and I don't feel like shit ever gets done. People always make false promises and never deliver. And I guess I'm just tired of that. Saying something and people funding them, and they don't even do what the fuck they say they do, or half of what they said they do. And I mean, it sounds great when you hear it. And how come we always fall for the same shit over and over and over again?
How much? Look this up. How much money does the U.S. spend, like give to other countries? Damn. Just say how much money does a year? How many billions of dollars go to other countries a year? I'm just curious to see what that number is. How much money does the U.S. give to other countries yearly? Okay.
52.4 billion.
In aid, okay. So let's say, $52 billion. shooting more than 150 globally between. Okay, so it's $52 billion. Okay, so $52 billion. Like if I wonder in aid. So I mean, I guess certain countries do need help, right? But let's just say we said F those countries.
What would we do with that money?
Well, what? Like, how much positive shit can we do for the U.S. for $52 billion?
We can offer free college. We can fix the fucking roads. We can have better parks. We can fix up the hoods. We can
there's certain with $52 billion, how much jobs can you create?
a fuck ton, I would believe. I don't know.
Right? Because
You would think so. I mean, I feel like you'd be able to fix a lot of communities that are in poverty in America.
and that's because we're not as smart to be able to think of ideas of like how would this money be implemented. But there's guaranteed there's 5 to 10 high quality motherfuckers who'll be like,
This is how you do it.
this is how you do it. Boom, 52 billion. Boom, got it done. 1 year, we got it.
They would figure it out. Like, but I mean, it would be difficult to have all that shit to get it working. And then like, because a lot of people say like, oh yeah, let's not. Why are we giving these people aid when we should be fixing here?
Yeah, because I mean, 52 billion seems compared to how much money. Like we spend like 800 billion on our military yearly.
But if the argument was like, okay, but we're saving lives in other countries, but it would be like
you're saving lives here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if you're like, yeah, but you can go to the most dangerous cities in the U.S. and start building businesses, start fixing the communities, better parks, after school programs, shit like that to get like if it's heavily gang tied, let's stop these kids from joining gangs by getting them distracted and after school activities, doing fucking basketball leagues or some shit, offering free fucking free fucking programs as far as like music, MMA, free. All you have to do is join and you have to be enrolled in school. Or even go as far as like you have to have good grades or at least passing grades or a C and up.
The only thing I can think of why they haven't implemented this already is because there's got to be a profit. Crime must be profitable. People going to jail must be profitable. Right? Policing, because if there's not much crime, you don't need that many cops. But it's like, why wouldn't you invest? Like when I think of it, investing is like you're investing in your property, right? Your house. You put new windows, right? You put new siding.
They wouldn't care because most of those people don't live in those communities. So they're like, we don't feel that. We don't even know they exist damn near.
I know, but these are your people, right? I'm thinking if you invest into your people, right, the output should be better.
But people don't think like that. They're like, fuck that. How long is that going to take? I'll be dead by then. I don't care about that. People want, people
I'm saying,
are extremely selfish.
But the government is always looking 10, 50 years in the future. And that's why that's why they go to war with so many other countries. And that's why we went into Afghanistan for the oil and all this shit. Right? That's why they do plays like this, because it's for power, to ensure the U.S. stays in power. So I'm sure they think ahead of it when it comes to like that. But I think that they must not value the outcome. They must not see it as enough to justify the 50 bill yearly.
Yeah, it just seems like they wouldn't do that. And even if they did that, how many people would die?
How many people would die where?
Around the world that we're helping. And I mean, when we calculate numbers, right? Because if you calculate numbers in the U.S., how many people we would save and how many people are going to die in other countries, it would be more deaths outside the U.S. So
but people
it's like,
say like you're supposed to.
You're not. That's their job, huh?
Like,
but it's because they don't have it. They don't have it. Well, the U.S. likes to. The U.S. gets a high off that shit. They feel like they got big balls.
Big juicy balls?
Big filled ones. They want to drag their nuts on the ground. That's why the U.S. does whatever the fuck they want. And I feel like they do that just to like, they're just flexing the duh out here. They're just flexing that shit. It's like a comparison. They're just showing everybody we got the biggest duh. Don't fuck with us. That's what they're doing. And just showing them.
Yeah.
And then the US is just freely showing it because they're proud of how big it is. They're just doing that, going everywhere. That's why, and it seems like it works to an extent, because I feel like, I mean, a lot of people hate the US, but
they know it's strong. Huh?
They know it's they're not saying let's hit the US like this. No, they're fucking organizing. If they're trying to, they're saying we gotta hit it like this, because this is gonna happen. Like, it's not easy. And then even if you manage, right? Even if you manage to do any fuck shit in the US, the blowback is gonna be crazy. And that's just gonna be, it's just gonna end up worse. More people are gonna die, and it's unnecessary. I don't think we'll ever be in peace.
Nah.
People always gonna want to flex it though. Thank you for listening to the AB podcast. You can follow us in the links below. All our social medias are linked there. If you want to buy some merch, the merch that we're usually wearing in the podcast, you can buy it as well. The link will be below.